So now let's go over a tool or a set of tools that are incredibly useful in sort of your creative process. And these are the selection tools. So when you're working and manipulating images, what you're actually selecting is important. So, you can always do Control Command A and that selects everything. And that's great if you want to copy some image from one document to another. But after you've actually selected everything, you can be like, oh, how do I deselect things? So you can actually go to select, deselect, or very simply, if you select everything and you have the Marquee tool, you just click outside and it deselects everything. So here we have the Marquee tool, and these are different set of Marquee tools. You'll notice right here it says M. This means the keyboard shortcut. If you're on another object, you press M, and you automatically get put in the Marquee tool. So you have rectangular, elliptical, single row, single column. So I have the rectangular tool here, and you can select sort of anything you want. Something important to note, if you hold down Shift, it will give you a perfect square. And this is similar for a lot of different applications and a lot of different tools within Photoshop. If you're holding down Shift, it'll give you sort of a perfect sort of square, perfect sized proportional document. So again, I can use the Marquee tool, and if I'm holding down Shift, I get a perfect square, and make sure I'm on the right layer where you can see that layer is highlighted. I can copy, Control Command C. I can cut, Control Command X. So if I copy and then I paste, you'll notice it pastes it onto a new layer. Now I need to make sure I go back to the cursor right here, the Move tool. Again, the shortcut is V, and that lets me move it around, right? And this is where I can play around with my sort of blend modes and my opacity and sort of that kind of stuff. Now, a couple of the other sort of selection tools you'll notice here is we have the Lasso, Polygon Lasso, and Magnetic Lasso. And you'll notice the L for the Lasso tool. So the regular lasso, we can just sort of draw our selection. And then we have the Polygon Lasso, which is great because that sort of gives you more control, but also allow you to still have those sort of straight lines. And you'll notice when I get back to the point where it started, this little 0 sort of shows up, a little O, and that just means that it's closing that selection, and you need that selection to be closed. Now, if I wanted to add on to my selection with any of these tools, with the lasso or the polygon lasso, if I hold down on the Shift, you'll notice now it's a plus sign. I can actually add on to that selection, and you can do that with any of the selection tools. So I now have the Marquee, and I can add on to that selection, and vice versa. If I want to remove, I just hit the Alt key, and then I can remove part of that selection using any of these selection tools. All right, so those are sort of a couple different selection tools that we got there. And then here we'll just talk about the quick selection and the magic wand. So quick selection tool is kind of very useful. It sort of automatically selects sort of things within sort of pixel domain, and it might be very handy for you to use, or you might find it sort of selects too much. It's really kind of something you have to play with. The next one we have here is the magic wand, and the magic wand is great because it can help you select a specific color or sort of a particular selection. So you'll notice here that when I select this is a contextual menu, and this changes when I change my tools, right? So you notice the tolerance right here, this is sort of within the range of the pixels that I'm selecting. So we've talked about before, when you zoom really in, you can actually see the pixels, and pixels are the squares of color. And when I'm selecting 1 pixel, it's going to select around it like pixels, and the tolerance tells Photoshop within what range of tolerance. So if I up the range to say 30 and I select this color right here, it's a bigger range that it's selecting, more like and like that it's selecting, versus if I said the tolerance was 5 and then it just within 5 pixels. So that's with sort of the selection tools, and these are very handy, and I highly recommend that you play around with them.